Hi, my name is Kaydence. I'm a graphic designer, an illustrator, a guitarist, and a geek culture lover. To people like me, I thought it was an interesting platform to teach the public this aspect of Chinese culture and weave it together with gameplay and interaction, making it a more approachable way of learning about this. So I've titled my installation as Inner Metal. It's a multi-track steel marble run with either intersecting and or dueling tracks. During my preparation for this project, I did some research into metal and its link in Wu Xing, and I found that it's a inward motion element. It represents resolution, reservation, determination, as well as the principles of looking beyond the self and relinquishing control. So the installation to me is a representation of our human resilience against the harsh realities that life throws at us. For my installation, I am using a method called kit bashing. Kit bashing is a practice used by toy modelers or sculptors where they make a new model altogether utilizing pieces and parts from various toy sets, model kits, etc. and create something new. So what you see are actually various track pieces from different marble run sets I've pieced together. Besides doing design as a full-time day job, music is another passion of mine. I've been playing guitar ever since I was 15 and I am still actively playing. I do serve on my church's worship ministry as a music director and an acoustic guitarist. So for my installation, instead of making a regular marble run, I decided to incorporate pieces of instruments that are made of metal, such as xylophones and bells. Also, if you look closely at some of the wire being used to hold the tracks in place, they are actually guitar strings. What I hope for the public to take away from my piece is that everyone's journey in life is unique. All the experiences that we go through, they all form the mixtape that is our life's story. Ultimately, we all end up at the same destination, and the beauty of what happens in the meantime, to me, it's all that matters.
Hi, my name is Marian Tan. 生存之道 is a symbolic artwork for my loved ones because it mainly encompasses stories and memories with them. But aside from this, the message of the artwork and process is about the bittersweet beauty of life. I hope that when interacting with the artwork, one can seek solace, comfort, and feel uplifted. Wood or mu is part of the 5 elements of Jing, Mu, Sui, Huo, Tu in this exhibition. I used mainly wood and bamboo to represent human life. Bamboo symbolizes strength, flexibility, and growth in the Chinese culture. So using small details like these, I hope audiences can feel rejuvenated, encouraged, and hopeful about things again. Reconnecting with the people that I love was a mandatory process of the conceptualization that I wanted to have. It isn't every day that we can have heart-to-heart moments and create something together. So this was the most valuable part of the whole journey that I really treasure a lot. A chance to create a precious memory with them and preserve it in the form of art. I enjoyed working with new and familiar faces, and also got to dabble in new techniques. Everything was just really fun because there is always something fresh to absorb. To interact with the artwork, one can play the game and also watch their life being played out from seats like a performance. I attribute my interest for the arts to my family, and this layout is inspired by that. It is one of my pastimes to uncover new stories about them and notice the little similarities in our interests, just happening in a different time zone and different generation. I also believe that we have points of innocence in life whereby we want to kind of preserve something forever. So the moon in the background of the structure represents that notion because to me, the moon is an icon of eternity. Sometimes we are fully aware of its presence and sometimes we are not, but it is always there. And that embodies the idea of how certain people or experiences are always watching over us from the sidelines through life, whether they have passed and are gone or not. So I hope that the artwork gives that momentary feeling of joy we occasionally yearn for. While interacting with it, we can feel the positive emotions towards life and little windows of happiness, and realize how so many things add up together to eventually make life beautiful in a bittersweet way.
My name is Rene Foo. I am a graphic designer based in Singapore and I'm 21 this year. The name of my artwork is titled Be Water My Friend, which was inspired by a quote from Bruce Lee. And I thought that this encapsulates my concept and the theme of water perfectly, in the sense that how he mentioned that water can be anything. In my case, how a simple rubber band used in our daily lives can be reutilized into something different. So the idea of being like water is more of to be open-minded and see things in a different light. So with current technologies, games nowadays are easily played on mobile devices or computers, but youth in the past actually found entertainment in everyday items such as rubber bands, and that was the game of 0 Point. So my intention was to make it relatable and something locals could connect with, if not a new experience for the younger generation, hence the choice of this game. So I wanted to create an environment that facilitates the imaginations of the visitors and to not make them feel like they're trapped within 4 walls. Hence my structure is created in such a way it's based off a circle to disrupt the rectangular space that I was given. And how this relates back to the theme is that as water is associated with calm and quietness, this installation is made to be immersive and serene, so as to allow oneself to relax as they transition on to the next element. The installation layout is influenced by the motion of water in terms that it starts flowing from the ceiling to the ground, which then forms the bigger picture of a wave from afar. When visitors walk through the installation, they will find themselves having to use their hands to form a pathway, and this action actually recreates the motion of swimming as if they are underwater. Outside of work, I also have an interest in photography, and I especially enjoy exploring the streets and documenting everyday lives and places. I found that I much prefer taking pictures of like the back alley of a street, wet markets, or like places that we commonly go to but just don't really pay notice, and I think it's this little interactions and moments that I enjoy capturing. So my intention was to also get visitors to experience photography through the actions of taking photographs themselves, by making the installation a photo spot where people would subconsciously take out their phones to snap a picture and thus bring back a piece of me with them by the end of the experience. Overall, I hope that this would be a fun and memorable experience for the visitors, hopefully encourage them to see things a little differently and appreciate the little yet beautiful things we have here in Singapore.
Hi, I'm Keith, and I go by Kifch, Kifch, at least on my socials. When I was a little younger, I was a musician. I still am one, but I was really drawn into the arts through experimental music and art installation projects that involve the use of sound and sensory experiences. There's something about immersive experiences that make art much more than static, and it's the feeling of being fully alive that motivates much of what I do. This work is titled Safe State/Checkpoint, mainly because I was inspired by how RPG games usually mark checkpoints in games to save your progress. It acts as a sort of safety net where if a player progresses further and loses or dies along the way, he can return back to the previous point of saving the game. And this is something that is pretty much taken for granted in game culture, where competitive spirits can be high and no game player is ever satisfied with returning back to a safe checkpoint. When I first saw the brief, I thought this show's concept is interesting. It combines key elements of Singapore in terms of identity and culture. The way we progress, most careers are linear in a way, and it tends to drive society, and that also parallels how games work. As with installations, it's a lot of moving parts, right? You have the physical element, you have the digital and interactive element. But I'm really looking forward to setting up everything, where I feel most of the work would come in place. My artwork is a representation of a significant monument that marks a milestone in a hero's journey. Huo, which is fire, symbol of vitality and new life in Chinese culture. It provides restoration and a place of rest until the hero is ready to start again. And should this hero fall, he will be given another chance to find himself back here. I like to use this artwork as a talking point or a conversation piece for topics surrounding progress in general. Things change along the way. They can always fall back to something like their skills or an experience they had earlier in life. I want this artwork to be representative of that. Because life is full of ups and downs, my hope is that this artwork helps others identify what is central to them, a place they can go back to if they feel lost, and hopefully respond in a way that cultivates gentleness and kindness to themselves and to others.
I'm Cheryl Chiw. The artwork is titled Borrowed Earth. The idea of negotiating balance. Balance between space, physical material, and invisible forces. My process starts with wandering. It could be anywhere, with nothing planned, just to observe, to see. I'm drawn to the insignificant and neglected. Sometimes I get distracted by the unexpected, which reminds me that things exist in cycles. I sculpt by stacking stones. I remember creating simple games, playing balancing stones as a child. I sculpted various forms by exploring different configurations. Just curious to see how and if, a traditional game might be translated in a digital form. Looking at mud splatterings on surfaces, it gave me a thought to explore earth in liquefied form. The random textures created are almost like abstract landscapes in themselves. My process starts with wandering. It could be anywhere, nature, the city, industrial, or abandoned places. When I come across something interesting, I collect, not knowing when I might use it. While working on Borrowed Earth, I begin to discover about the different types of stones, where they come from, the colors, the natural pattern and textures. It was also interesting to discover that it's more clay than soil that we have in the ground at our national parks.
I go by the name ANTZ, and then I'm a graphic designer by the day and urban artist by night. I'm toying around the idea of jiu. It's something that we used to play as kids, probably in the 80s, 90s, and then the description of the artwork is that my involvement in this entire exhibition is hanging on to different kind of roles in different zones, and how I can collaborate and work with a different artists and further enhance their concepts and ideas together. I think the key process of the artwork is that I have to assess the different concepts, different stories, and learn about their experience, and try to see things in their point of view, and then try to further enhance the artwork. Coming in as an urban artist, I can use my medium, my techniques, and then just present it differently and to tell to further tell the stories. In such cases, I'm actually planting a series of my monkeys, my urban monkeys, all around the show. They might be very loud in your face, or some are just hiding somewhere or interacting with the artwork. It does not appear everywhere or very loud in many cases. And of course, injecting the urban aspect of things, go by found objects, and then see how we can make use of items that are normally overseen in the streets, and how we can incorporate into the artwork together. I do learn a lot, especially working with new artists. A lot of fresh ideas, a lot of things that I'm not exposed to, and try to adapt. I'm exploring a lot of new concepts and ideas and stories. I think it's a very interesting journey for me, and chance for me to really explore, even push myself further. I definitely found a new me along the way in this exhibition. I'm very honored to work with all of them. I challenged to rediscover myself and forcing myself to push further. I hope the viewers will share the same interaction with my collaborators, and most important part is to have fun along the way.